The Trijicon MRO, let's check it out. Now, for a long time, Aimpoint has not had really any serious competitors. I mean, there's a lot of red dots out there. There are a lot of decent quality red dots. But one of the things is these are just decent quality. Aimpoint is really high quality, and they have produced with the T1, the T2, the H1, the H2. I mean, they're just excellent small microdots. Now, Trijicon has done a couple of things, and of course with their RMR, how small it is. But this is, to me, just a game changer in the red dot. And the big difference, the big thing that I love about this sight is this objective. I mean, it's 25 millimeters, it's wide, it's a tapered fit that kind of cones out, and it really opens up your eye. One of the things about the most of your little microdots, whether it's the Aimpoint or Vortex, primary arms, I mean, there's so many different little ones out there, is that it's like looking through a cone or looking through a tube. It's one of the things that this really has a huge advantage of, even over the Aimpoints. Now, Aimpoints are great sights. I mean, they are battle proven, and a lot of guys that really know what they're doing love the Aimpoint sight. So I'm not here to bash Aimpoint, but I am going to say that, to me, a huge advantage of the MRO, just straight up, is this tapered cone that comes out and gives you a really large objective. But another big advantage of the MRO is that the elevation and the windage adjustments are actually non-covered, and they're recessed, so there's no way that these are going to get bumped, and yet you can change these quickly without losing your scope caps. In fact, you can use brass, a piece of brass, and use the rim to turn it, or of course a small screwdriver, and these are sealed, so there's no way to get moisture or water down in there. The adjustments are half MOA. Not only are they tactile, they're also slightly audible. And they are really fine adjustments. It actually is a 70 MOA adjustment either way. And so you've got that for both your windage and your elevation. Gives you a lot of points. But these are typically centered at Trijicon, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of adjustment that needs to be done. Now, to give you a little bit of taste of the difference between your standard microdot and the MRO, is because it's tapered, you're going to get a bigger objective lens. And when you're looking through your standard microdot, it's going to look more like a tube, looking through a tube. Now here it's going to be kind of difficult to tell, but you can already see that the objective is a lot larger. So you're going to be able to kind of look out and see a lot more area. It's going to gather more light, and it is, guys, at the range, it makes a world of difference. And in here you can see from the front view the difference. The 25 millimeters really makes much more difference than an 18 millimeter. Nice wide objective. You can see the dot really well. It gives you an idea at 100 yards what you're looking at too with those targets, because the glass is super clear, and with that large objective it really makes a big difference than looking through the Aimpoint or a lot of the other microdots. More like looking through a tube. This is more like looking through a scope. And while you've got this rifle on your shoulder, it's very easy just to kind of peek up and look where the elevation is and where your windage is, and you can see it and you can adjust it even while looking through the sight. It does have threads around, and I'm sure that would accommodate a kill flash if you wanted to keep reflection down. Also, and you may not be able to tell, but the lens is slightly at an angle, and that also keeps reflection down as well. The glass is multi-coated. It is fog-proof and waterproof up to about 100 feet or 30 meters. Again, up to the Trijicon quality. I mean, Trijicon really does a great job making these very rugged. And I've owned ACOGs for years and a number of other Reflex, of course RMR, different scopes from Trijicon, and they are just exceptional. Man, this glass is beautiful. Not only is the glass multi-coated, but it's really good glass. And that's one of the things that really separates a really nice, expensive scope or a high-quality scope is the glass. And it costs a lot of money to make sure that those imperfections are out, because the imperfections are what dim your vision. And really, in real-world situations, especially out to distance, it's really important to have a really good glass. Now for size comparison, this is one of the small primary arms microdots, and it's not quite the T1 from Aimpoint, but it's really close to the same dimensions. And you can see that it is a lot bit larger. Of course, this has a small mount that fits right down onto the rail, and this has the 1/3 co-witness. So that's going to give it a little bit more. So really, we're probably talking more in the lines of about right here. It's definitely higher. And of course with the knob is a little bit larger. The weight on the MRO is 4.1 ounces without the mount. The weight on the Aimpoint T1 is 3.7 ounces. So you've got about just a little under a ½ ounce difference between the two. I believe the T1 has about 13 different settings, whereas the MRO has only 8. Of course, if you're like me, I only use certain ones. But also the Trijicon MRO will go down to 100 feet or 30 meters of dive rating. The Aimpoint T1 will only go 80 feet. So just a couple of side notes, but honestly, no real deal breakers either way. One of the things I really like though is that everything is right up here and you can see exactly what you're doing with the dial. You go from your off position, and then you can just look up and tell exactly where you are. And this really allows you to set it wherever. On the off position, then you have your low light settings, 2 and 1, and then you have your night vision only settings right here. Now your night vision you're not going to be able to see with the naked eye, and that's made for just nighttime shooting. But keeping it on the 3 mark, it will last for 5 years, just like the Aimpoint, which is fantastic. The battery cap's right here on top. Take a coin or a screwdriver. It does take the CR2032 battery, and here it is. These are very common. In fact, I have these in a number of different sites, and one does come with the optic. Also, there's some little fingers in here that you can see. Be careful not to damage those when you press it in from one side into the other. Also, make sure that the rubber O-ring is in place. It goes right back on. The finish on here is a hard anodized finish, and again looks like just an ACOG that's been just cut. But just a really solid, strong piece. I mean, typically Trijicon products are built like tanks. This sight is well at home on rifles or shotguns. Doesn't matter. It can take the abuse. In fact, when we were down at the Iraq Veteran 8888 range day, a lot of guys had these mounted on some of the full auto machine guns. They were shooting them all day long, and these sights were holding up extremely well. The mount itself is one of the 1/3 co-witness mounts. Now you can get it with whatever mount you choose, or you can get it with just the sight itself. And I think they're already coming out with some QD systems, which I'll be getting one for this. I really like the QD, able to take it on and off different rifles. The mount does look a little bit like it would fit the Aimpoint mounts, but it doesn't. The screws are just a little bit too wide to fit. And there are a number of companies now that are making quick detach mounts, and of course Trijicon has a number themselves with the flush mount, and then the 1/3 co-witness, and then a high mount. There's no eye relief on this. You can put it wherever you want to. A lot of guys like to run it up far. I like to kind of keep it a little bit back. It's totally up to your preference and what your eye can pick up quickly. But it kind of gives you the scout rifle mentality if it's pushed out a little bit, which I really like. The markings on the scope: Trijicon MRO, 1 click, half MOA, patent pending. Right here we have a serial number, and then PSA semicolon 28, which is for Psalms 18:28. And if you want to read that, I'm going to leave it up to you. That's a pretty cool verse in my opinion. Then made in the USA, which really makes this also a great option above and beyond a lot of the imported sights that we're seeing. And of course, Aimpoint is the same. Now, the rifle I tested the MRO on is one of the 2A Armament BLR 16s. This is one of the lightest weight rifles ever for the AR-15 rifle. It weighs 5 pounds, of course, without the MRO. That is phenomenal. But this is a review's coming for this, and that's part of what I was doing when I was shooting the MRO. But just a great combination with a lightweight, very quick and handy sight, and then a super lightweight rifle. But a huge advantage that the MRO has over the Aimpoint sights is price, which would surprise me actually. You know, I own a number of Trijicon products. They are not cheap, but I have never regretted buying one, ever. This is from Georgia Optics, and I just want to say thanks to those guys for sending this for the evaluation and the test. On the Georgia Optics website, this sight without the mount runs $493. With the mount, and this is one of the third co-witness mounts, it's $544. So that's a fantastic price considering that your Aimpoint, the T1 and the T2 run into the 6+ range, 600+ range. And then even the H1 and H2s run around the $600 range. So you're really saving yourself, in fact, compared to the T1, about $100 for a really nice, beautiful, high quality scope. Now, if you like those, you still like that really small signature on your rifle, you know, it's all about preference. But I'll tell you what, guys, the advantages to me of the MRO are just incredible. And I really think that Trijicon has hit a home run with this. And to be honest with you, the MRO is the first real competition that the Aimpoints have had. I mean, they have pretty much dominated the market in the quality area. Not necessarily on just the reasonably priced imported sights, which are really fantastic, honestly. But really for the high quality and the high quality glass and just how professional these are made for military applications. And because of that, they're super tough. And also the price reflects it. They do have a lifetime warranty on the whole parts and the assembly of the scope, and then a 5-year warranty on the electronics. But go by Georgia Optics and check out the MRO and all the other Trijicon, Aimpoint, EOTech, and other great products. These guys are the largest seller of Trijicon products in the country. And that says a lot about their customer service and what these guys do. And I want to thank those guys again for sending this sight for the review. One thing's for sure, it looks great on this rifle. The Trijicon MRO, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. This sight is much bigger than my cigar.